Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here with me, Pete, and along with me this week I have Ben.
Hello.
And Eddie.
Hello.
Sadly, no Kirk.
No. I did put that up on Twitter earlier, actually.
I saw that, man. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I saw that.
Put it up there.
He did give us advance warning this time, but we should probably have guessed from the whole having COVID thing. He might not make it.
yeah, he did have COVID. We were going to go and see him at the weekend, weren't we? And that scuppered plans. It would have been a Grumpy Gamers reunion, but no, not this time.
Not such a thing. Sadly not with us today either, because he's catching up on all orders for all you Framer gamers, if you're listening. But we'll make do with us three. We are, of course, going through... I like that you wooed at that, by the way, Eddie. That was fantastic.
Yeah, of course. I'm always happy when Kirk's not here.
Your mood does improve. Anyway, we have, of course, got the news, which includes a really annoying story about Linus Tech Tips, so look forward to that, everybody. A very packed new releases section.
Packed.
Yeah, it's really packed. It's excellent. We're ramping up, aren't we? Which is good.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah, and it kind of makes up for a very small what we've been playing comparatively, because two of us are still playing the same game as last week, and I think Eddie is also playing the same game he was playing last week. So there we go, moving forward. And our feature this week is on DLC versus the new content sequel. So comparing those games with endless ongoing DLC updates against the ones that come out every year, and you know exactly who we mean by that. So we'll get to that towards the end. Shall we kick off with the quick news though, Ben?
Let's do it. And probably, I would say the biggest story of the week. Should kick off with the biggest story of the week in the quick news.
What?
Eddie has bought a new controller. Eddie has spent money on not only an official controller, but a Starfield controller nonetheless.
It is branded. Yeah.
I never thought I'd see the day, but you put it in our chat. Like, what the hell's going on there?
Right. Yes. I like how you lambasted me. This is not on the dock. I like how I've been cornered here. Now, do you know what it was, right? And this shows what it takes for me to actually spend a lot of money on something. Was we were playing Warzone, and we were towards the final circle, weren't we, Ben? And then I tried to redeploy, but my left button wasn't working, my left bumper. And I was like, no, it's not working. I tried to use it, and then I just got shot and died. I was a few beers deep by this point, so immediately straight on the websites, what can I buy? And then I was like, when you're spending... So I found a controller for 55 quid, like that's with delivery. And I was like, the Starfield one's 70. Like, ooh, only 15 quid more. When you're spending 55 quid, why not spend a little bit more and get something that is going to be the best game of all time? So,
I mean, you'd already spent 15 quid on the beer.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
May as well, and here we are. Lovely Starfield controller.
Yeah, it's with you right now. So Kirk has 2, you have 1, so we have 3 Starfield controllers across this podcast.
And I imagine likely to have a 4th with you, Ben, surely.
Yeah, well, I was saying last night, when Eddie posted that picture, I was like, I want one, and I've broken a controller recently and had to go back to the...
Did you sabotage your own controller just so you had an excuse
did it
to
on
replace
purpose
it?
so I could buy
that's smart,
buy a
so
new
you
one.
could do the mental gymnastics.
Yeah,
you
easy
accidentally
gymnastics.
dropped it on the floor.
Oh no, I smashed it on
Gonna
purpose.
have to get a Starfield controller. What was Kirk's reasoning for getting 2, by the way?
Because he needed to keep one box, Eddie, because they're going to gain value as time goes on, aren't they?
That boy, he doesn't even play. He's never played a Bethesda game, and he's got 2 fucking. Oh god, that.
No,
boy.
he doesn't want to play it either. He's got no interest in Starfield. He doesn't want. He's bought 2 steelbooks. He's bought. I mean, we can't have a go at him because he did offer us one of the early access codes.
Hasn't followed up on that, of course. But yes,
that's why I said no to it, because now I can take the piss out of him. So
yeah, I mean, thank you very much, Kirk, if that ends up being in my hands. So that's fine. But anyway, should we move on to other less important news?
Less significant news, yes.
Yeah. So, rumour has it that Crystal Dynamics may be getting ready to reveal a new Tomb Raider game because they've invited players to sign up to be the first to hear about new Tomb Raider news. via their website, I think. So, yeah, so that's what people think. Skull and Bones has a closed beta. I think it's this week and not next week, but let's say this week. There's no NDA, so we're going to hear all about it. So we're going to hear if it's good, hear if it's bad. But interesting that there's no NDA on this because who knows? But let's get ready to hear about that.
Maybe they're confident.
It will all be positive about Skull and Bones, surely.
Well,
no negatives.
Surely, if there's no NDA, that means they're quite confident about it.
Well, Eddie, I think they must not think it's dog shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because and they are swimming against the tide on this one, aren't they? They are.
Good pun.
They do realize. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. They do realize that everyone is expecting this game to be awful. So, but they are contractually obligated to release this game because they received a load of money from, I believe, this could be wrong, Singapore. So I think it's like Singapore government or something like that.
Right.
One government gave them money to this game, and they have to release it.
Yes.
Not the most context or factual stuff in that news, but there's something in that. That's why
it's in the quick news, buddy.
It's in the quick news. Go look it up yourself. There's something there. I've given you the jigsaw pieces, just put it together. So yeah, next up, Shredder's Revenge gets its first paid DLC on the 31st of August. Okay. Xbox are implementing a new strike system, an 8 strike system to be specific. If you get 8 strikes,
so dumb.
If you get 8 strikes, it scales, and then you get banned for a year from multiplayer games, I think, under your account. It sounds odd, but some violations are worse than other violations, and you get more than 1 strike. So it begins to make a bit more sense. It's not just you can do 8 things. It's like some things might count for more, I suppose.
Okay, I was going to say, otherwise you get to 6, you're like, well, I better make the next one a goodie because I've got to save it for a year from here on. Like...
Yeah, I don't think it quite works like that, but yes. So I think that's either in place or being implemented, something like that. Again, not a lot of news in this news. Baldur's Gate 3 devs, they ballsed up with a patch and had to roll it back, which caused save issues. And that prompted them to go on to say that they are changing the way that they deploy patches going forwards. I think it was hotfix 4, going into hotfix 4. They then had to roll back to hotfix 3 when a load of people, including myself, had played on hotfix 4. And then they said, if you have any saves under 4, it won't work until we redeploy the hotfix, which was like 12 hours later.
Yes.
These things. What I found very funny is people on Twitter saying, this is a good way to communicate. You know, they told the fans, they've said we'll fix it, they apologise. That was really good for them owning up. What the fuck are you talking about? What else are they going to say? What else are they going to fucking say? Oh, no, we're not sorry. We're not going to fix it. We're not going to...
Just don't say anything. Just stay dead quiet.
Everybody says your game's broken. Yeah. Cool story.
This is the thing though. With a game that you do save compulsively in, this was quite a major problem.
Yeah, it definitely was. I actually woke up on the morning, saw it on that Twitter post. I went and loaded up my save, and it still worked. So, and I was on. I mean, I did it all that time. Maybe my game hadn't done the hotfix because I've been playing or something like that. So, don't know. But it's all sorted now though. Baldur's Gate 3 is working fine. Now to games that have changed their release dates. So Assassin's Creed Mirage, that's moved forward 1 week to the 5th of October. And Alan Wake 2 has moved back 1 week to the 27th of October, all to avoid Spider-Man on the 20th of October.
Right.
So I think it's pretty smart of Assassin's Creed. It gives 2 weeks now between Mirage and Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, true.
And Alan Wake just went, see ya.
Yeeted themselves back by a week.
Yeah, we are not getting close. To be honest, and they probably, I bet they would have liked to maybe have done 2 weeks, but it's almost like too much then, isn't it? So
yeah. Well, the other bit is, I imagine like Assassin's Creed Mirage, you can probably complete in 2 weeks if you're playing a regular amount. I mean, Spider-Man's not going to be that long, is it either, really?
No, so, I think it'll probably be, I would imagine it'll be about the same length as Mirage. But or the previous game. The last game, I believe, on a first playthrough, was about 20 hours, but it was very like platinumable. So you could 100% it. Like, it was one of those games which was an easy 100%, like almost an enjoyable, easy collectibles type thing. So a lot of people played it for a bit more. I reckon you could probably do 30, 35 hours maybe on it. So Spider-Man's not too long. Well, the first one wasn't too long, so I imagine this one's about the same. Mirage is shaping up to be like this 15 to 25 hour game, supposedly. So that's pretty good as well. Alan Wake, just wants to get the fuck out of the way. So
very wise. Yeah.
Yep. Starfield, the size of the game has been revealed. I thought this might be interesting for you, Pete. 140 gigabytes on PC, and it's 100 gigabytes or 117 gigabytes on console, depending whether you get the standard or the premium edition. Yes. Big old game.
Absolutely massive.
Assume you're playing it on Xbox, Pete, and not PC?
I am, because it is absolutely massive.
Yeah, you don't like big games on the PC, do you?
I do not. It pisses me off immensely. So, yes, I have already preloaded it and everything. It's ready to go, in theory. Yeah. Well, they let us do it from mid-last week, so it's just like, why not get it done? Why not get it done, really?
Why not get it done? I haven't got it done yet, but I will be, obviously.
I do not have the space at the moment, so I have to do some gymnastics in my head.
This was the bit. I also had a moment to do the gymnastics and remove stuff, so I was like, well, just replace it so I don't add anything in between.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah,
I like it. A lot.
Because it is a meaty size. So, yeah.
I think I'm going to have to accept that I'm only playing that and Warzone while playing Starfield.
Yeah, you're right. Series S will only be able to house that.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. I almost had to uninstall Elden Ring for this.
Oh, there you go.
That's not a step I'm willing to take.
Well, unfortunately, guys, the Xbox 360 stores will be closing next July, so you're going to need to install all those old games onto your system and buy them.
Madness.
Before then. I was going to say as soon as possible. No, before July.
Yeah, before a year has passed. Yes.
For a full year.
Yeah. Quickly.
But yeah, those store servers, stores, whatever, they're closing next July. So
yes, I was about to be furious about this, and then I remembered it is just the 360, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's so we're talking several generations ago. Okay, that's fine.
That's games.
Yeah, that's. I'm going to say that's fine.
Yeah, that's it. I revisit them so often. No, I don't.
I do have a 360 in the cupboard actually, but I would never put it on because they have back compat on the latest one. So why would you?
I found my one the other day, and bless my parents, they were like, "Should we take it in?" I was like, "Oh, you'll get about £5 for it probably."
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, those are the types of things that I would keep the Kirk methodology of it gaining value.
I have many questions about that methodology, but sure, you may as well not throw it out.
Yeah, I mean, the Starfield controller that he bought, you'd be better off just putting that £70 in an ISA and just leaving it there.
Yeah,
that's not
absolutely ridiculous. Yes, but there we go. I'm just going to steal.
I think Kirk likes spending things on nice things, doesn't he? That's what he likes. So
it's his thing.
Spend stupid money on stupid things and then say, but it's got value to me. Lovely.
Yeah.
Done.
That's where the value is.
If it has value to me, it has value.
Like everything, actually. So there we go.
There you go.
Well, I actually operate off the principle if it has value to somebody else, it has value to me.
I mean, most markets do actually, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. It's worth what the next person will pay for it. Anyway, lastly on
are we going
news,
into soapbox philosophy here? Yeah.
We're going into like a microeconomic.
Fantastic. Okay, let's jump on from that, shall we?
Last quick news item. Jeff Keighley has played down talk of big announcements at Gamescom. I think there's he said one or two surprise, but it's mostly games that we already know or something like that.
Yes, so. But it is in a few days, Gamescom, isn't it? So
yeah, I think is it Tuesday?
It may well be.
I think it's tomorrow / yesterday.
But yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Maybe it's Tuesday. Maybe it's yesterday. Yes, maybe it's yesterday.
It's one of the days coming up. So.
Sometime this week, we'll find out. Yeah,
and that's quick news.
Yeah, that's the quick news. Fantastic. Good to
Not
end
a
with
lot
some
of
certainty.
not quite news, not known news.
This is not a
Details
surprise
are missing.
for anyone who's listened to us more than once.
Details were missing.
Of course, expect completely different situations in the main news, which Eddie is going to kick us off in.
Yeah, I've got some. Let's kick FIFA news. EA have finally had to pay some money for FIFA. You may remember it, but a while ago we talked about Austrian court and suing FIFA. But yeah, Austrian court have decided the FIFA Ultimate Team packs constituted a breach of the country's gambling laws and fined EA, and I don't know how they're going to end up paying this, 10.8 thousand euros. Or £9,200. So
big time.
Yeah, I assume they're going to fold as a company in relation.
Is that just symbolic, or?
Well, I don't know, but yeah, EA says it disagrees with the verdict, but they will not contest it. Well, they actually said we disagree with the court's decision and believe it got both the facts and law wrong in this case. While we've decided not to appeal this narrow decision, which has no broader legal impact beyond this individual claim, we are confident that our games do not constitute gambling and that we are in full compliance with local laws. Basically, the Australian courts rule on individual cases without a need for their impact to be felt in subsequent cases. So the decision won't have like a wider impact on that other case.
Sets no precedent. Well,
Exactly. So
essentially, EA went, it would be more expensive to contest this than it would be to just pay
They
it.
went, do we just go, fuck it, we disagree, but it's 10k, probably the intern has that in his pocket, so let's just pay it.
I'm pretty sure one of our friends would cover that cost for them in about a year. Anyway,
yes, that is true. That is factually accurate. Actually, these loot boxes, like they said, it doesn't constitute gambling. I thought we all, it clearly is gambling.
I thought we all agreed that it was gambling, but
it's 100% gambling. Yes.
Like, I have no, I've got nothing against loot boxes. Everyone who says, loot boxes are the devil, loot boxes are shit. Well, yeah, the reality is everyone fucking loves them. That's why they're fucking paying money for them. So like, you can't argue with the money being spent on them, therefore they must be loved. Behind it all, everyone will say they don't love it, but they really actually do. But it is gambling.
We'll agree to disagree on this, but yes. It is definitely gambling.
Okay, if it was that shit, you wouldn't pay for it.
I never do. Yes.
Yeah, but
a lot of people do.
You're not playing it, P.
That's a very good point. Yes.
I'd be worried if you were.
I don't want to be mean,
think
your
a lot of
opinion doesn't count on that.
No. I also do think almost everyone is a moron, so it's entirely fair.
Jesus, right?
He's well escalated quickly, didn't it? Oh, Christ, it's not the opinion of grumpy gamers.
That's where we draw the line. Okay,
it doesn't really break the bank, but like I think it's still good though, right? That someone's voicing and it's got a bit of media time that it's gambling.
Yeah, I think you're bang on. Like, it's more symbolic, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. EA aren't even losing sleep over it unless it gets media traction and etc.
Look, it opens a door. It opens a door, doesn't it?
That's the thing. It may not set precedent within Austria, but imagine if it applies to another country, or where they go, well, this has already happened there, and it was
there. You
was
go.
Yeah, or there's a class action lawsuit brought somewhere or something like that. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, 100%. Could do.
Could do. Happy news.
Shall I take us on to my story then? So strap yourself in, guys. This is a biggie.
Yeah.
Right, I don't even start. Starfield's title screen was called out.
Oh fuck me!
Right, let me just. I'll go through the story. This may not take the turn that you're expecting it to take. So, former Blizzard developer Mark Kern, he tweeted in relation to Starfield's start screen, the physiognomy, I think that's how you say it, the physiognomy of start screens, I had to look that word up, I didn't know what it meant. The start screen of a game can reveal a lot about how rushed the team was and how much pride they took in their work. Starfield's start screen either shows hasty shipping deadlines by a passionate team overworked, or a team that didn't care. Start screens are often done at the very end of development. Teams are too busy making the core game. It's quite common for the start screen to completely change once the game is shipped or on patch 0. Teams that take pride want to put a good face forward and will often redo these just prior to the game going live. So that came out. A lot of backlash, a lot of people, blah, blah, blah. Then Bethesda's head of publishing tweeted back, he said, they designed what they had wanted, and that's been our menu for years and was one of the first things that we settled on. Having an opinion is one thing. Questioning out a developer's care because you would have done it different. Should have been differently. This is the head of publishing.
You are butchering it as well, which makes it worse. But yes,
he's not making it sound better, but
it's because he put a full stop after having an opinion is one thing. That should be a comma. Or having an opinion is one thing. Questioning out a developer's care because you would have done it different is highly unprofessional and coming from another dev. Okay. Yes. But basically, the internet and Twitter, it went crazy. The backlash on this was crazy on the guy that said this. It's still going on now. I don't think the guy has a good point. The start screen's fine. Who cares? It's a start screen. But people, you could just tell Starfield is polarizing people to such an extent that they are going fucking crazy. Yes. Like this particular comment. Like, okay, he said what he said. Twitter is an opinion-based platform. Yep. So someone says something divisive because it's an opinion, and that's kind of the idea of Twitter. You get fucking idiots, you get wet motherfuckers going out and saying, oh, how dare you do that? Oh, don't give him any time, just block him and move on. Fucking hell, man. Like, what's the problem? Just a guy has an opinion, you don't think it's right. It's pretty irrelevant whether he's right or wrong. It's just an opinion, and he wasn't even that disrespectful. Like, yes, it's a start screen, who gives a fuck, but he's probably just impression farming, but you should get payments from Twitter now. Like, that's fine. Do whatever secures the bag, baby. Just it doesn't matter. Like, you just want this game to come out so that Twitter isn't as crazy, because you've got one half of Twitter wanting to take it down and one half wanting to say it's like the second coming.
Yes, well, it's basically the PS crowd versus everyone else, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the other bit is the initial comment did amuse me a little bit, simply because, do you see the Skyrim main screen? It's just black with a symbol and a small menu.
Yeah.
Like,
What
were you expecting?
The opinion, but the opinion doesn't really matter. Like, no, the opinion, it doesn't mean anything. You're exactly right.
Internet gets furious about something is not a new headline for us. You know what I mean? Like, there's always everyone on Twitter is just waiting for something to flip out about.
I just found it was like, it's Starfield though, because Starfield is they call it like a game of a generation, or I think more than anything is just people are putting it on such a pedestal. I feel bad for it. Like,
well, I don't even know if it's that. It's because Bethesda have such a long cycle. So I think GTA is going to suffer the same thing when the new one comes. It has to be good. If you're going to take fucking 10 years between games, it has to be bloody good. You know what I mean? It is generational just because people have had kids in that time, and they're not even still toddlers. They're actually in school.
I think Bethesda's got the added one of Xbox fucking up so much over the past couple of years as well that they kind of need to do it for Xbox as well as themselves. So
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Xbox made this big money purchase, and this is the first big thing from it, really. It has to be good.
It has to be good, yeah.
It is crazy that like, I think we're pretty much like, we want it to be good because we want to play it and we're going to play it, but we're not tied to it being the best thing ever. No. And also equally, if we only owned a PlayStation and we didn't have an Xbox, we wouldn't want it to be terrible. Like, it just and it seems more people than I ever knew have that kind of like one-sided mentality. I think these people just need to get more into sport. Actual sports teams.
Touch grass might be a thing.
Why are you siding with a company and a box. There's sports teams out there, guys. Come on.
If you're going to get tribalists, do it for the right
exactly.
reasons.
That's the modern day tribalism, isn't it?
It is for us, at least. Anyway, I mean, the other thing, by the way, I was really disappointed the other day to see a early look at Starfield where someone said they hadn't seen a single bug in 15 hours of play. And I was like, that can't be true. I don't.
He must have been stuck on the main menu screen.
That's what it is.
Just admiring that screen, which is fair enough.
I saw a tweet where somebody said there are bugs in Starfield, and it just had a picture of a bug on the floor.
Nice, very good banter.
I thought that was very good. Yeah,
well done,
nice.
that man.
If it hasn't got game-breakingly hilarious bugs, I will be very sad.
Yeah, you're taking it back.
I will feel as if Bethesda have lost something in this purchase for the first time.
If you can see, like, I don't know, maybe Roach on the top of the starship. I don't know how that. Just mixing all the bugs into one. I'd fucking love that.
If a Roach asset isn't in this game accidentally, I'm furious.
CD Projekt Red just like, what did you do, guys? But yeah, how did this even happen? We don't even know.
I want to say, for the record as well, I think the menu screen is really nice. Actually,
it does. I think it looks lovely.
love the simplicity of it.
I mean,
it's amazing.
For the record, it's probably supposed to like show your spec in the universe type thing. That's why it's so minimalist. But
exactly, yeah, I think it looks great.
Don't forget that Twitter is now a monetized platform where anybody with a blue tick or whatever, I assume anybody can monetize, and any impressions they get. This is just people doing what people do. Like,
this is the problem as well, is like people are going to be encouraged to say stupid fucking stuff now, so that more clicks, more likes, more conversations, more money.
Well, this was like, this didn't make sense. I don't think. Like, I don't think it. But he wasn't. I didn't think he was particularly disrespectful. But people just went fucking at him like crazy.
This is the thing. It's like an opinion that you didn't need to spout. You're gonna get some comeback, even if you're doing it for cash. I mean, one thing I think we should focus on though, Ben, is you not only looked up what physiognomy meant, you looked up how to say it. I appreciate that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah,
I'm pleased you did that. That's care and
Stay
attention.
tuned for our new releases when I.
Eddie, you could learn from this. Yeah, that's what I
I care about this podcast unlike others.
Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, I do feel I've run out of ways to play for time before getting into the.
Yeah, you got to do it, Pete. It's your time, baby.
It's the biggest news story of the week, and I'm so done with it already. Linus Tech Tips has had some controversy.
Yay!
This is Linus Sebastian's Linus Media Group. My God, he's more narcissistic than I am. YouTube empire is currently in crisis, with accusations of theft, lapses in ethics, and most recently, allegations of sexual harassment. Oof. The company has currently paused all production to improve its review processes, and CEO Terran Tong, is he a DC villain? Tells The Verge an outside investigator will be hired to examine the harassment allegations. In a video posted entitled "What Do We Do Now?" Oh, God. CFO Yvonne Ho announced the entire channel was pausing production for the next week to address the issues raised by Gamers Nexus, interestingly a competing YouTube channel, about errors in videos and concerning ethical practices. I agree with the community, Ho said, so I'm putting my foot down. Ho said, sorry. Fantastic. I agree with the community, so I'm putting my foot down. Effective immediately, all YouTube video production is on pause. Basically, Gamers Nexus had posted a video outlining the number of factual errors and ethics concerns in a recent Linus Tech Tips video, and put in, we have been seeing an alarming amount of conflicts from Linus Tech Tips as it relates to their corporate connections, their flow of money, and the potential bias as a result of those things. Yeah, do you remember when Steve Burt from Gamers Nexus and Linus used to get on and do videos together? I don't think we're going to see that again after this, I'm going to be honest. So the biggest concern was around a GPU cooling block made by Billet Labs, where apparently Linus Tech Tips had reviewed this, the wrong one, and then auctioned it off at a fan event without the company's permission as well.
Yeah, they said they were going to send it back, didn't they?
They did, yes.
And then they auctioned it off.
They did, yeah. No, I mean, impressive amount of fuck-ups for a small giveaway. It wasn't great. Linus Sebastian then responded to this. There's so many statements. Do I have to read them all, really? Okay, yeah, we're good. We'll give it a go. He said, we are using this, like everything else, to continue to drive ourselves to do better.
Ah, yes. That old statement.
My God. Yeah, this then escalated when Gamers Nexus posted another video in response to these comments with a segment titled Linus Tech Tips response is disappointing nonsense. No clues for guessing which direction that went in. Meanwhile, fans expressed frustration and outrage on the Linus Tech Tips forum. Oh my God, I'm saying that so many times. And subreddit, with some fans demanding a public apology to Billet. That led to another video from Linus Tech Tips.
Me.
Yeah, where Linus himself came out saying, I was the one at the head of the company for each and every mistake that our community has rightly brought to our attention. And then it continues. And I mean, I love the fact that the article we've taken this from, which was from The Verge, by the way, originally, is giving like timestamps on this stuff. 7 a.m. Eastern Time the other day. A former employee, Madison Reeve, posted a thread on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, accusing Linus Media Group of cultivating a toxic work environment and encouraging a work culture that was detrimental to her health, as well as sexual harassment directed at her by employees. Can open, worms everywhere, as they say. I chose to quit my role at LTT because it and the working environment I was facing were ruining my mental health. My work was called dogshit. I was called incompetent. When I would reach out to managers and try to get help in these situations, I would be told to put on my big girl pants and be more assertive.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah.
Is that the sexual harassment? Sorry.
Yeah. We'll get to that, Ben. We'll get to that. They went on to accuse the company of barring her from videos after she reported being grabbed multiple times in the office and being told to calm my tits and stop being such a bitch.
Holy fuck!
Well, that's not so good.
Whoa!
She ended this with, it felt like a horrible teenage drama movie. So
it sounds like one of those videos you'd see at school, like, don't do this, and everyone goes, well, obviously I'm not going to do that. But
yeah,
apparently it does actually happen, right?
Yeah, it's a training video they clearly missed as a company, Linus Tech Tips.
I think that end part sounded bad.
Yes,
but we
definitely...
don't like. My work was called dogshit. It might have been. I was called incompetent. You may have been.
Yes.
Be more assertive. You might have to be. But the last part wasn't so good.
Yeah, put on my big girl pants. Also, not the best comment.
Yeah, there's better
worst.
ways to put that.
Not the worst comment though.
Certainly not the worst. No, I mean, calm your tits. Stop
That's pretty bad.
That's
Unless
pretty
it's said to a man, I think that's actually okay. If a man said,
Eddie.
if I had to go and went like, you're all shit, and someone went, Eddie, calm your tits, I think I'd appreciate that, actually.
I think that would be
that would calm you down, actually, Eddie.
That would actually, I'd fist bump that person, and then, But,
it would be, you know what, you're being very assertive, I'll deal with this. Yeah.
Okay, that's a different work environment.
If I was
I
a
appreciate
woman,
that.
I don't think that would be a very good thing to
Yes.
do. No,
Either way, this is a situation of can opened, worms everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
lots of stuff just flooding out all at once, being addressed with generic statements, which just make it worse.
The best one that I heard, Pete, and you might know this, is that he reviewed a mouse, and they said like it wasn't very smooth, like it was like it didn't move very well, and it turned out that they hadn't removed like the plastic thing off the bottom, but they realised that, and they kind of released the video anyway, and they just put like a
disclaimer, basically.
Yeah, disclaimer.
Yeah.
But it affects the review score, obviously.
It does.
So basically, they have to release like 25 videos a week, and everyone was under a lot of pressure, and they couldn't really back out of this stuff. There was other stories of them like using the wrong graphics card in a test, and then Linus came out and said, "Yeah, but the graphics card that we would have had to use to do the test would have been like $500, $600, $700 or something like that, and we're not going to spend that money on it," or something like that.
Don't do the fucking video then.
I don't really know what to like. This is your job that you're choosing to do, so like that's just a cost of sale, isn't it? That's kind of like a part of the process. You have to do that. I don't know.
Yeah,
this seems awful.
It's definitely not gone well. I mean, the funny bit is you can kind of the Gamers Nexus stuff on their. I mean, ethics is always a difficult one to judge on until you have full facts, but their accuracy is definitely a fair statement.
Yes.
And I think it's been a very good thing to flag. the sexual harassment one, I kind of think we have to wait for more information, but it does.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Sound good at all.
Yeah, we made a joke of various elements, but yeah, you just don't know, do you? At that point, it's like, who knows?
And this is the thing. Some of these statements, like which one was it there? Put on your big girl shoes, big girl pants. That one, in theory, amuses me, but then you go, but in a work environment, that is not something.
It's
to
all
say.
context driven. It's all
That's
context
the
driven.
problem, right? Because like all these things, I've experienced it recently, where like when you read things in a sentence, you go, "Oh, that looks really bad," but that could have been, for example, in like a jokey, like everyone's laughing and everyone's throwing ideas into a table, and someone says that. So out of context, that looks horrible, but in certain contexts, it's absolutely normal. But
yes,
I mean,
agree
not
with
the
you,
calm your
Eddie.
tits one. I am not saying that for the calm your tits one.
Also, stop being a bitch is not a
Well,
not a great
actually,
one to use.
now it is all context because that is actually in different circumstances amongst friends who work together or something. People could say that, and it could be nothing. And yes, it might be unprofessional or viewed from the outside. It's all context with this stuff, like that when written down and put together in a lump of stuff.
Yep.
It obviously looks worse. So it's not up for us to like, you can't judge on this, can you? You can't judge.
Exactly. Either way, what we know is it's not been a great week.
No.
For LTT as a group, and
not
in particular, and in particular, like coming out with two really generic responses from Linus himself was really not a good look on this stuff.
Oh, he's done no favours. Like
None at all.
He is bad, and he comes across like a fucking sorry, mate, but you're not going to listen to this. But you sound like an arrogant prick. Like he just comes across so badly.
Yeah.
Everything is named after him. Do you reckon his license plate says Linus? Do you reckon?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a bad company move, isn't it?
Yeah.
To name it after yourself.
Yeah, it does put a lot on you if it goes.
Yeah.
wrong.
It does. It's like Linus's problem, but I think there's like instances where they go like, "Oh, can we do this again? Can we film this again? Can we do?" And he's like, "Just no, you got to get out."
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. So
And
that's what happens.
I think it will be sad for quite a few people because like Gamers Nexus and LTT used to be the ones to go to learn about equipment, and
Look, they'll be back. They'll be just where they were, and they'll do the whole "we are better" blah blah blah, and nothing
we've
will
hired
change.
these people to make this change.
Oh yeah, we've done an internal
bullshit.
investigation.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah,
We've let go certain people.
Nothing
Linus
will
is
change.
fine though. Linus is having a great time.
yeah. No, he'll step back for a couple months. Like he's.
Oh
has to
yeah,
anyway.
he stepped back.
I'll be honest.
After a chat with the investigator, and he told that person to calm their tits.
Look, this is great publicity for tech stuff. This is great publicity when they come back out of the shadows and say, "Yeah, we've reviewed our processes and we're back and we're doing." People will go to them now. Like if anybody's looking for tech stuff, they're going to them. People that weren't aware of them before are now aware of them. Like this will actually benefit them in the long run. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, it's that all coverage is good coverage, isn't it? It's that bit.
Or any press is good press. I think that's what you're
Exactly.
trying to say.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Close enough. Either way, shall we leave that god awful story in the past and move on to new releases?
All right, Pete, calm your tits. Let's move on.
Not in a work environment, Eddie.
I feel like you're making light of a situation, but yes, yeah.
Yes, I know. I'm going to get a lot of hate mail, especially from Kirk. Right, new releases. Blasphemous.
Calm his tits. Yes.
Blasphemous 2 is what you were just then, Pete. Coming out PC, PlayStations, Xboxes, and Switch, August 24th. The Penitent 1. Oh, fuck me. That was such a bad start, Eddie. You even looked up how to pronounce that, and then you almost said on. The Penitent on? No. Fuck. Right, let's start again. Blasphemous 2, coming out on PC, PlayStation, Xboxes, and Switch. Ben, could you clip that? That'd be good. Just little edit. So that's the
I
first
may or
time
may
got
not
it.
edit that.
You may or may not. August 20th. Oh, it's not. The Penitent 1 awakens as Blasphemous 2 joins him once again in an endless struggle against the miracle. God, that was seamless. I didn't make any mistakes there. Dive into a perilous new world filled with mysteries and secrets to discover, and tear your way through monstrous foes that stand between you and your quest to end the cycle once and for all.
See, one small edit, and that would sound like you've done it perfectly.
Yeah,
small edit.
If anything, Eddie's the issue there because he then interjected and asked me to edit it and then carried on. Now I can't do it.
There's no point.
You would never. There was never any risk of that happening. Unless I screamed in the middle, like "scream your tits" or something, and then you wouldn't edit it.
You don't know that.
You can't prove
for certain.
You can't prove it.
Fuck me. Right, it's. Let's get back to the game, guys. It's a side-scrolling Metroidvania. It's published by Team 17, and they do not miss. The visuals, or I think I can say animations, are actually quite well done, despite like the look of the game. It's not clunky at all, like most of these games are. Lots of top reviews already online about this game. It sounds like people are loving it. What do you guys think?
The first one went down really well, didn't it? I think it's pretty damn hard. I think it's a mixture of like a hack and slash, but with some Souls-like difficulty.
Yes.
I think it's quite a difficult game. I like the art style. I think fans of the first one will be all over this. And from what I remember, it's like a 20 quid game. Well, the first one was. So
this is coming out at 25. It's 10% already, obviously, but it's £25.
I feel we should also say that Blasphemous is currently £5.
Ooh. Wow.
It's 75% off as a sort of midweek deal in preparation.
I think, Pete, and I could be wrong, this really could be wrong, it's on Game Pass.
Ah, well.
Wow,
I really could be wrong. You really could be wrong.
Well, if you are wrong, it's only a £5, so crack on, people. It is a cool looking game, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's got the Castlevania style look to it, and it does it well. Yeah, Souls-like difficulty in this kind of setup, I obviously like that. We've seen that in other games I've played. It's pretty cool. Cool. Yeah.
You, Ben?
At another time with fewer releases, yes. I would think about it for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement as well. There's a lot coming out.
Okay, fair dues. I did try to look up if it was on Game Pass, but my Game Pass has just crashed while typing it in, so there you go.
Good that you did that before the show. I'm glad you pre-prepped, yes.
Well, why would I look if the first one is on Game Pass?
Especially if it's not on Game Pass.
As part of your...
searching
as part of your
unicorn.
many hours of research, Eddie, I assume you put in every week.
Well, I do put in a lot, but that's not one of the things.
Do you?
Type in if the first one was on Game Pass. That's a stretch there.
I'll look in the background, shall I? I'll have a look.
Right, lovely, thank you. Next one, Toaplan?
I think that's how you say it. It's
weird, Toaplan Arcade Shoot 'em Up Collection Volume 2. We know how much I love that Shoot 'em Up sign. It's coming out on PC August 24th. Toaplan Arcade Shoot 'em Up Collection Volume 2 is a collection of Fire Shark, Flying Shark, Slap Fight, and Hellfire with an array of quality of life improvements. Yeah, do you remember those games? They're all plain and like ship retro kind of shooty games. To be fair, me and the old man used to play one of them on the Mega Drive, Fire Shark. I'll admit, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a really good one. It was fucking dead hard, and you really hated life when you died because then you had to go back to the beginning. But honestly, lots of good hours. Old man, if you listen, have a look at it. Fire Shark, lovely.
I was going to say I assumed it was the only way you got much of his attention, but yes, fair.
There you go. Not sure how much fun it will be now, though, to be honest with you. I went on to all the gameplay. Do you remember that music? That like Sega Drive like music? The
Sega
Mega Drive.
Just please try again.
Sega Drive.
Sega Drive.
Sega Drive.
Sega Mega Drive music. You know that like
yes.
The Sega Drive.
Well, no, that's Sonic.
Sega May.
That like I don't know. How do you describe it? Like the electronic-y like. It's fucking horrible. Like
it was made on a 2-bit synth. Yeah.
I know, but like. Looking at this game, it's got that music in it, and I'm watching gameplay footage, and I'm like, I don't think I could do this now. Like, it's so annoying. How did I used to put up with that in the old days? Fuck knows, but
yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. I'm not mad at it though. I don't mind these games.
Firstly, Blasphemous is not on Game Pass.
It is not.
So
yes,
you got to retract that, Eddie. That's on you to retract.
I'm sure you'll let it out, Ben.
Very good. Very good. And this game looks wank.
Oh wow. Okay.
All of these games look. It's a terrible thing.
They're like fucking so old. Give it a break, man.
If you like Volume 1, you'll like Volume 2.
Jesus, like Fireshark. When did Fireshark come out? That was a fucking belter. 1989.
Yeah, and we've all been crying out to have it again.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Should have stayed back then.
Jesus. Right, let's talk about another wank game then. Armored Core 6. Hold
on. Save it. Sorry, I need to close the door, boys. Give me 1 sec.
Okay. This is staying in, Pete. This is staying
Sorry?
in.
Right, okay. Then you guys crack the fuck on.
Yeah, we don't need you for Eddie reading out the name.
I know, that's so weird. Because you're still going to have your headset on. You're just closing a fucking door.
I need to close a door.
I need everyone stop. Everyone stop.
I'm sorry, I'm so important that I need to be here
guys,
whilst you're...
I've got to scratch my nose. Everyone stop. Stop the recording. Ben, put the edit note in. Fuck my life. Gotta close a fucking door. Right, okay.
Egotistical. Never mind.
Armored Core 6 fires.
But secondly, how fucking far away is this door? He's not even back.
Yeah, I know.
No, I am fucking back. I was waiting for the moment to interject on your
Where did you
dickhead attitude.
Did you?
Look, I had a mouthful
the door
of
at the shop down the road.
I had a mouthful of food as well on the way back. What do you want from me? All right.
Oh,
clearly,
wow!
Clearly,
in the middle of
you were
podcast.
just waiting with bated breath for me to return.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Listen back to the recording, Pete, and we didn't have good things to say, but it's fine. It's fine.
You rarely do, but I understand it's jealousy, so it's okay.
That's it. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Coming out on PC, PlayStation, Xboxes, August 25th. A new action game based on the concept of the Armored Core series that uses the knowledge gained from Software's recent action game development. All in one sentence. Wow, well done. So these are third-person mech shooters, if you didn't know. The first one, by the way, guys, I looked it up just as, feel sad. Came out in 1997, so we are old now. We are officially old. We're old people.
Yes.
Yeah, for this one, the visuals look great. The combat looks hectic as fuck, if you like that sort of thing. It looks too much for me, and I never really understood the mech appeal, but lots of people fucking love it. Ben, I think you've once told me you love this, or you want to play it.
So I've never played an Armored Core game.
Right.
I am all in on this game. I'll be day one, because it's from Software, and I think that's why a lot of people will be buying it, because it's from Software. Yeah. It's their time to reintroduce this series after having had Dark Souls and Elden Ring and Demon Souls remake. Well, that wasn't them, but Blue Point, whatever. But having to capitalize on all of that success, and even Bloodborne and all that kind of stuff, they've had such a good last 10 plus years. This is the time for them to reintroduce this series. I'm not sure when the last one came out. I think it was a while ago. But I am not against mech games. I did Daemon X Machina when that came out on the Switch. I was all in for that game. I bought I bought the controller, just like the Starfield one. I bought the Daemon X Machina controller. I got the demo. I was so excited for it, and it was a pile of wank. But this this looks really good. In From Software we trust. So I don't think it's going to do as well as people expect, though, in terms of sales, because there's so many games coming out, and Starfield's out the next week, and Baldur's Gate is obviously out at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it will get a bump because of it being from Software. So I think it will review pretty well. I think it will review like in the 80s, maybe even high 80s, but I think it's going to almost be the From Software effect. I don't know if you'd agree with that, Pete.
No, I suspect that could be a significant factor in it. I do think it's going to struggle, though. There's just so much going on. Like,
it's pretty much got a week to be played, if you know what I mean.
Yes, exactly.
Because I would expect that Starfield would be taking over a lot of people's lives, or Baldur's Gate if you're buying it on PS5, etc. So it's pretty much got a week, and this game isn't one that would move out of the way of anything. it's just going to be. What I do like about these games is they come out at 50 quid, like Elden Ring. You know, it's not a 70 quid game. Elden Ring came out at the same price. I think it's 55 quid RRP, but you'll be able to pick it up for 50 or less.
It's 50 on Steam. I reckon it's 50.
Yeah, there you go. Like I do like that about From Software. It's like because they're releasing it on the old gen and the new gen, they just stick to this kind of 50 quid price point, and I like that.
Yeah, it's a fair price. I think it's a good thing.
I think it's a really long game as well. From what I've heard, it's like a 40, 50-hour game, and it's got 3v3 online multiplayer. And what I like about that idea is that presumably mechs, building your own mech, and I think that could have some longevity to it.
Quite possibly,
I'm really looking forward to it.
Excellent. Look forward to your review, to be fair.
Yeah, should talk about it next week.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Right, let's move on to Daymare 1994 Sandcastle, coming out on PC, PlayStation's, Xboxes, August 29th. Daymare 1994 Sandcastle. What's with these blurbs starting with the fucking title? Come on, guys. Is a third-person, story-driven survival horror game prequel to the critically acclaimed Daymare 1998. Step into the shoes, Eddie. Shoes of Agent Dalila Reyes, a former government spy now in the service of Hades Unit, and prepare to face the true horror. That was read poorly. I apologise. It says it on the blurb, even though it's read pretty poorly. It looks more supernatural and gory than scary. But I do like the kind of dark and scary setting of it all. It looks quite cool. I even get a few bit of Dead Space vibes if it wasn't so supernatural and gory. But maybe that's just me. It could be a bloody good streamer game, I think. Could be good. One of those you don't mind watching instead of playing. What do you guys think of this one?
Yeah, is it like one of those... what the fuck is the name? Like the Man of Medan one...
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Whatever their
that niche
banner, that banner of games is. But is it like a walking, choice-driven simulator?
No, it's a third-person horror game.
Yeah. I mean, like, but is it action or is it like you walk through and then you pick choices and that type of stuff?
It's listed as a shooter, so
okay.
I suspect it's a bit more action than
actiony
and the type. Yeah.
I thought graphically it looked quite nice. I think I thought exactly the same as you, Eddie. Great streamer game. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it looks polished. It has that vibe, doesn't it? I think it will be good for that. It's not my area, so I'm not interested at all. But yeah.
My main question from the blurb was: at what point do you get to say that your last game was critically acclaimed? Does it just need one critic?
Yeah, one critic says it's really good. Yeah, I think that's the limit.
I acclaim this.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it must be said, like, Daymare on Steam, like, recent reviews are mixed. So
critically acclaimed, baby.
As in, if we played an indie and said like, it's pretty good, would they go like, critically acclaimed?
Yeah. What I will also add is my
Grumpy Gamers critically acclaimed it.
I feel like, maybe if we did it as our company, Grumpy Gamers. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, game of the week.
What I did also like is the first review you can find for Daymare 1998 comes up from Bloody Disgusting. Don't know that channel, but clearly a reviewer. If you've ever enjoyed any survival horror game and or can remember the 90s, you should pick this up. So it's basically just saying, if you like horror games and you're a bit old, you might like this.
Right. I'm buying that game. Are any of you interested in getting it though? Or watching someone stream it, maybe?
Again, I would watch someone stream it if.
I think so too.
If Ella or Distortion or somebody like that started playing it, I'd be like, why not? I'd definitely watch it.
Nice. Right, let's move on to what could be some people's biggie. Daymare 1994 Sandcastle. Oh God, I know. Shut up, Pete. Shut up.
It's not getting edited.
Shut up. If no one says anything, Ben might edit it. No, it's because I didn't fucking delete the latest tab. Let's move on to Goodbye Volcano High, coming out on PC, PlayStation's August 29th. Goodbye Volcano High is a cinematic narrative adventure about love, adventure game about love, change, and the end of an era. Guide Fang through their final year of high school as they try to make things right before time is up. Oh, Jesus. Come on, Eddie. Donnie liked this game, so you've got to be nice.
He did.
Yeah, so we saw this in PlayStation's, the February State of Play, but then it got delayed. It's a coming-of-age narrative adventure game, basically, but this one... Oh, come on, Eddie, keep it together. But everyone's dinosaurs or lizards or...
Something similar?
Dragons. I'm thinking maybe pterodactyls.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bit of something going on anyway. There's some genetic splicing.
There's a dinosaur personification thing going on.
Yes. But they're also all different colours as well, just because, that's something that...
Are you suggesting they should have been segregated, Eddie? What are you going with here?
I'm just thinking, if you're already going for a niche, why do you need to put a hat on a hat?
Why does it matter, Eddie?
Right, yeah.
Because I think it's fucking horrendous. That
you notice they use plural pronouns for Fang as well, Eddie, just to really get you good.
Whatever. Like this looks fucking horrendous. But I'm the caveat. You know what? Yeah, sorry. I stayed as long as I could. This looks unforgivably bad. But here we go. I'm Cavian Owl. I bet this does really fucking well. I'm. You know what? I'm even going to put a prediction right now. It will win one category in Game of the Year. There you go.
Wow. You heard it first.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't put it past it.
Yeah. And that's the way of the world these days.
Okay, well, it was in a state of play. It got some coverage. I mean, Donnie definitely said that he really liked it. Actually, he really liked the look of it. I agree with you, Eddie. I think it looks awful. But
wow, I thought you were going to be... You like a nice coming-of-age, tragic-looking game like Persona 5?
Okay.
True.
This hasn't got the same charm. This hasn't got the same charm as A Night of the Woods. It's a bit... I'm not into it. They're a bit too they're a bit too peoply. It's odd.
Yeah,
One's got fucking wings and feathers. One's got a fucking a fucking horn on his nose. One's got a beak. What human?
Okay, that's all the same one as well. But
they're waltzing about. I'm not into that.
Oh,
you love a walking sim. Okay, right, yeah.
I'm so confused with the world now. Right, okay, good. I thought one of us was going to say nice things about that.
Well, it's not going to be me either, so let's move on.
I knew it wasn't going to be you, Pete, so I was looking at Ben, but we need to get Donnie back. Let's get Donnie back. We need some positivity. He's always nice and happy and positive about games. We need him. We need him back.
He didn't fit the vibe of our show, but yes.
I like how you said it past tense, as in he's not coming on again.
That's as in he's never coming back. We literally invited him on 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god, yeah, and I'd have him back in a heartbeat, but we are called the Grumpy Gamers. You can't be happy here.
Anything to get rid of Kirk. Right, let's move on to Samba de Amigo, Party Central, coming out on Switch August 29th. Get up and shake it on Central Stage in the vibrant rhythm action game. Groove to 40 hit songs from the world's most popular genres, with even more arriving as post-launch DLC. We saw this in the February, once again, Nintendo Direct. And then it got delayed. Something about putting things in those shows. Oof, I wouldn't do it. It's, if you remember, a rhythm-based maracas game where you shake the Joy-Cons to the music. Ben, I believe you said you actually played the original, didn't you?
I did. I had it on Dreamcast.
You had the maracas as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I had the maracas, baby.
Not maracas. That doesn't make sense.
Boy.
Yeah, that's tragic.
Yeah, okay. That took a turn.
Are you interested in this? It looks alright.
I don't get on with these games. No.
Oh, what? Why?
Because I'm not very good at them. But also, there's loads of games coming out. But I don't get on with them. I don't have any rhythm, evidently.
It's good to accept your limitations. Fair enough.
Nice. Oof, that's deep. That is. Wasn't expecting that one.
That's a thinker.
You were in a band with me as a kid, Ben, so I don't know what you're talking.
No rhythm, baby.
There's a reason that band is not ongoing anymore.
Oh, I love it. Right, okay, that wasn't great. Let's move on to Sea of Stars, coming out on PC, PlayStations, and Switch, August 29th. Sea of Stars is a turn-based RPG inspired by the classics. It tells the story of two children of the solstice who will combine the powers of the sun and... I'm so proud of myself for not fucking that up. The sun and moon to perform eclipse magic. Didn't know that was a thing. The only force capable of fending off the monstrous creations of the evil alchemist known as the Fleshmancer. Fleshmancer? Yeah.
That is odd name.
Fleshmancer. That's weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
I've put Game Pass and play... Hang on. So I haven't put Xbox. Pete hasn't put Xbox here. But isn't this the game that's coming out on Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus day one? Didn't we have a news story about this?
Yes.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Okay. Right, we won't ask Pete what's happened there. So it's pixelated RPG.
Pete hates Xbox.
With
I'm known for hating Xbox One.
It's got like a top-down view. The visuals are actually quite nice. It's like pixelated art done well, in my opinion. There's also sailing, cooking, fishing. Pete, you can't put Xbox Now into the description. That doesn't count as you not messing up. You can visit a tavern, you can listen to songs and play the infamous tabletop game known as Wheels. So yeah, it's one of those games that's got a lot of side things to do, which I love. I like the look of it. It's just nice looking. The atmosphere, music seem quite nice. I'm not going to shit on this. I think it looks all right.
I completely agree with you. Actually.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Oh.
Yeah,
it looks really nice, and I think it's made a great decision to go onto PlayStation Plus day one and Game Pass day one because in the sea of RPGs right now, it is not a good place to be.
What I did like, though, wasn't it last week we were saying that this looked perfect for Switch, and it's actually going to cost money on Switch, isn't it?
Correct.
I didn't think about that. How much is it?
You're the one who should have researched this. Your section.
Brilliant. I'm glad I do this section. Switch. Here we go. Get ready for a £70 price tag.
I would not be surprised.
$29.50.
Yeah.
That is a big difference, though, from zero.
I'd say
it's more than 100% increase.
Yeah, percentage-wise, it's infinitely more expensive.
infinitely more. But yeah, it's a shame because yes, I do believe this would be a fantastic Switch game actually. But either way, I think it looks nice. What do you guys like it?
No, we're both with you. Yeah, I think this looks really good.
You've done that part.
We've done that part.
You are glitching a couple of times, Eddie.
Done that part. I just want more positivity, guys. I want happiness here. That's what I'm looking for. All right.
Clear game of the week. Yeah. There you go.
Well, we've got Samba de Amigo, Pete. I wouldn't get too excited.
Even clearer game of the week. Yes.
Well, let me move on to something that looks also pretty good. Under the Waves, coming out on PC, PlayStation's, Xbox's, August 29th. Stan, great name, a professional diver in the North Sea, is struggling to overcome a life-changing loss during an extended mission underwater. Stuck in his self-imposed solitude, he starts to experience strange events and will have to make the most significant choice of his life. It's a narrative-driven adventure game that's set underwater. The visuals are really quite nice, even though it's like an indie game. The mechanics don't seem too deep. Excuse the pun, I didn't mean that. But this, to me, could be an absolute indie darling. I think it looks really good. The gameplay I've seen of it looks quite fun, and the UI looks nice. You know, it just. I think this could be an indie gem. I really do think so.
I'd love to play it at some point.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I thought you'd like the look of it, Ben, because of Subnautica, obviously, as a starting point. My only thing comes from that like background to the storyline, where you go, if someone's just gone through crippling grief, is putting them in a diving situation a good plan? Like
100%.
Yeah,
they have to
the best-
sit in solitude
best.
for hours while they depressurize for one. Does that?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best time. Yeah.
It's the only place
I
to be.
I don't know. I just suspect
Yep.
HR might have had a word with someone.
If I was going to choose a
Nice.
place, it would be that one.
Yep. Yeah,
Wow, okay.
absolutely. At the
Okay,
bottom of the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be me. Yep.
It's
where I
not
go.
even the getting there; it's the getting there and back that's the problem.
That's
You
where I
literally-
go when I've
you're just
experienced
alone.
life-changing loss.
Pete, why do you think people
you've
are buried
never
at
been
sea? Because it's just the best way.
It's the only
They're
way.
already dead. What?
Yeah, but you suffer grief. You die. You're like, oh, damn, I just died. I wish I was at the bottom of the sea. Boom. Done.
Done.
Buried at sea.
Next.
Next.
You know what? Let's go with it. Sure. Okay. Wow. Go on then, Eddie. What's your game of the week? Jesus Christ.
Can we not talk about this game to people like, yeah? Come on.
We
Let's
just
be
said it was
nice.
good.
I want more.
I like a narrative-driven game, which this appears to be like one of the, and it'll probably have a hard-hitting story, all this kind of stuff, and it graphically looks really nice. I think we saw it at an event ages ago. I'm sure we did. It just
Probably,
looked
yeah.
really nice. I would definitely play this because you know it's going to be like under 10 hours. And it's just going to be it's going to be a good experience, and you're going to get really into it. You put your headphones on, all that kind of stuff, underwater.
Yeah.
I think this game looks excellent.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Lovely. What a delight. What a way to end. What a delight. I am choosing as my pick of the week. Oh, it's got to be Goodbye Volcano High, isn't it? That game just looks like a fucking delight. Donnie, if you're listening, that was my pick of the week. Now stop listening. It's going to be Sea of Stars, I think.
Yeah,
All
fair
right.
play.
Had to be.
Yeah,
Had to
I think it looks nice, and it's on Game Pass, so a win-win.
be. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have paid money for it, but
Armored
What a
Core
week.
must feel a little bit robbed, but yes.
Yeah, Armored Core's like,
I
You know
knew.
what?
You know what, Ben? I'm surprised you didn't jump in and go. You got to pick
Nah,
Armored
it's
Core,
all right.
but no, I don't care for mechs and stuff. I understand that people love it, and I bet there are
think
a lot
it's
of
niche,
happy
man.
people out there.
to be honest, I think most people have never played an Armored Core.
Yes.
Most people buzzing about this game, almost are pretending like I'm buzzing about the game because I love the look of it. From Software, yeah, but I've never played one, but I'm all in.
The last one
it's
came out
niche.
in 2013, and that was a spin-off of Armored Core 5, which came out the year before.
Right, so 10 years. Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's I'm all in. So it is niche. I do think that not a lot of people will be buying it.
Yeah, fair.
So
One way
see.
to find out. Yeah.
we'll see. Okay.
Perfect. Right. So that's the new releases.
Anything
Fantastic.
else, Pete?
I was just wondering if you're going to add some more unnecessary positivity in there for some reason. Or, no?
I just want us to be happier. That's all I want. You know what? We should all go to the bottom of an ocean.
It's the only place to go.
It's the only place to go.
He's escaping the what? Right. Yeah. Sure. Fine. You know what? Let's. Just
I bet he ends up happy, Pete. And do you know why? Because he's at the bottom of an ocean.
Because he had an ocean trip at the bottom.
There you go.
I really hope that choice he's grappling with is suicide now, just for you. But yeah.
Jesus Christ,
Jesus.
Pete.
let's
You've done that twice today now.
Fucking
What's up with
hell.
you?
Ben doesn't want to edit. Stop bringing up top subjects.
Christ.
I'm testing his limits. That's what we're going with these days. Sound quality was a hill he was going to die on, but he's happy to leave anything in.
Oh,
Anyway.
calm your tits, Pete.
Jesus. Anyway, into what we've been playing. And as mentioned before, myself and Ben have just continued playing Baldur's Gate 3, but once again, I think you've played more of it, Ben.
Yeah, I
And-
think you probably have, yeah.
Yeah, I think the most annoying thing, by the way, is you know me, you know I like to nerd out on these games and like dig into them. You don't really get as much of that in multiplayer.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I
Yeah,
can really
you-
imagine that.
You don't feel like you can take a moment to look stuff up or to like hunt things down in the same way you would if you're playing it single player.
Yeah, I
Which
bet.
it makes for an interesting experience, and it does kind of really make it your story, if you know what I mean. You can't think of any sort of, okay, let's approach it more long-term strategy, because you'd have to do that as a group. But it's a very different way of playing it, I will say that.
And I suppose with your side characters, you're not like thinking about them the same way because you're not building the team, you're building it together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a very different thing.
Yeah, I have no idea how you're playing this multiplayer. Beyond me.
Well, it seems to be a popular way of doing it, though. I mean, I am full single player, obviously, so it does seem like it would be a completely different game.
I definitely think it is. I'm very much enjoying it, but it's a very different experience to Divinity, which I played on my own for one.
How many hours do you think you're into it, Pete? Not that many, or
still only probably 10 or 12.
Cool. Okay.
At most. Yeah.
Well, I'm 20 hours in.
Okay.
I'm in Act 2. So that's good. And there is absolutely no denying that this is a very, very good game. You know, people are saying it, and it's absolutely
That's a
right.
statement that comes before a but, though, isn't it?
Looking forward to it.
There's a little bit of a but.
There we go.
So there are a couple of things kind of holding me back on this fucking all-in full commitment thing, and they're not massive things. And I expect you to be listening to them and going like, well, that's not really important. That's not what you get with this type of game, blah blah blah. But they're not massive deals. They're really not. But it's just that there's so many games coming out now that little reasons to move on mean that you will be moving on. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so many things. So, and a lot of these things may be design choices, but with like modern games, there's a lot of quality of life stuff. And I'd love to get your opinion on any of this stuff, Pete.
I'm looking forward to it if you ever get to the fucking point.
But yeah, quality of life issues. So the map is shit. You can't really tell different terrain levels, like what direction you're facing. It's I don't know if you can turn those on the menus. I don't think you can. So there's no directional markers. The mini-map annoyingly rotates so that there's no directional markers. So mini-map rotates, and then you've got to move a little bit. Then you've got to go back to the main map to know where you're facing, or you've got to place yourself in the right place. So it's a little bit annoying. The quest descriptions, they're detailed, but they are very detailed actually, but then they more annoyingly miss out key things. And it doesn't really give you any real direction sometimes if you forget about where you're placed in the story in the world. The inventory management is really basic, and it's hard to find stuff, like because it's just a little icon and then you move around. You just basically have to cycle through every item, and if you split items, then randomly, when you've split it, like one half of it will go in the middle of your inventory and one will go right at the end. And you're
I hadn't noticed that, you know.
Yeah, that's what happened. And I was like, okay, well, where is the other one? Okay, it's over there. The movement to me, I'm playing on controller, remember?
Yeah.
The movement on controller feels like you're controlling a puppet, and you feel like you're in an old BioWare game. So it feels like you're in KOTOR. And by that I mean like you press a direction and it takes half a second to react, and then it goes in that direction, and it just feels like you're not in full control. And sometimes you're just walking into something which is like, I just want to walk there, and it's like, oh, I can't. The map has predetermined a wall there that I can't go down. Okay, that's fine. You have to maneuver a different way, but the map would never indicate that to you anyway. I really, really like the story and the interactions in this game. Like, that's the highlight, and I think that's what everyone's kind of saying. And I think it really, really is fantastic. Like, choosing the key things of what to say and what to do and the impactful things. But then when a battle happens, like, most of the time I'm just like, oh, damn. Like, I triggered a battle, and then there's like 20 people you got to fight, and you know you're like 25 minutes of fucking fighting. And I just really like the conversation stuff and where that's going to go. And I find myself saving every 2 seconds because you accidentally trigger something to happen that you didn't mean to happen, or an impossible situation will happen, or you'll cause a battle because I've pressed the wrong button and I've picked up this thing and then somebody's decided to fight me.
Yes.
Or you'll choose an option in the conversations which I thought was going to go down a certain path, and then it's like, that wasn't actually what that was saying. It was too ambiguous, so that didn't work out. That's annoying that now I have to fight someone. It goes down the wrong place.
Ben, I'm gonna jump in before you move on. It's interesting you say this, right? Because I would love to know what hardcore Baldur's Gate fans think, right? Because when I saw gameplay footage of this ages ago, like when I was considering getting early access, like a fucking year ago, whenever it came out there, I saw the kind of cutscenes where you're still deciding and stuff, and I was really upset. And the reason why I was really upset is because I see Baldur's Gate games as, don't get me wrong, the side quests are fun, but like, you know, if you're not in the mood to like listen to it or read it, you kind of just keep on clicking the button, and then like at the end it kind of says like, this is what you need to do, and you just jump into the journal. If you skip it all, you just skip to the journal and go, right, I need to go here. And I was really upset because I thought if they're focusing so much on the cutscenes, that means it's a different game than I'm going to play. I see the Baldur's Gate all about the fighting and the equipping and the going to trade merchants to try and get that item that you've been grinding for a long time for. Yep. So that's really interesting you say that, because that's my biggest fear of this is the focus on all these cutscenes and how much, you know, emphasis is put on those interactions.
So, I mean, I'll weigh in, Eddie. The combat is very similar to Divinity, so if you like that, you'll like it.
Yeah,
I think there's a few bits there that I do agree with. I don't find the map quite as difficult as you, Ben, but I had a very similar one in Divinity, so perhaps it's just being used to it.
Could be,
and familiarity making it simpler.
Could be the Steam Deck as well, I don't know.
It could also be the way you're playing it. I think the sort of almost latency issue you're having with movement definitely could be through the Steam Deck. Because,
could be. It might be solved on console, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't have that at all, except when we're having a lag issue because we're multiplayer and the two people are desynced slightly. And then occasionally you do just suddenly like pop out of existence and pop into existence 50 yards down the line, which is surreal in its own way. But there's a few of these I haven't noticed too badly.
Yeah, that's fair enough, because they're not mass. I would say, Eddie, that I have to really pay attention in this game. This is a game that I have to settle down with, and I can't really have awful lot going on. Other stuff, like I have to be fully in on this, and it is more about the interactions for me than anything else. That's kind of it's the best part of it. That definitely is the best part of it. I had a part the other night though that kind of I didn't like, where I couldn't work out how to do something and my journal just simply wasn't giving enough information. And then the way that I figured out how to do it, I went on multiple online sources to try and work this out. Most didn't give the answer that I needed at all. They gave something that I'd already tried. And the way that I went on one YouTube video and it just said, go down here, go in this random door. If you pass this check, then you can press this switch, and then you can open this, go in this chest, get the item. And I was like, fuck, that is not something that I would have worked out. You could do an alternative quest, but you have to activate that quest, and I hadn't activated it. I didn't know how to activate it, kind of thing. So there are different ways to skin the cat always, but I just thought at that point, like, I've wasted a lot of time here. I had a lot of saving and reloading when I'd accidentally tried options around the environment and I'd blown shit up, and then people were trying to chin me. It's like so that. And I was just like, okay, maybe I'm not quite feeling this. And then I went to a new area and you had to have a particular item. And then I had to spend 15 minutes going back and then finding a merchant that I could buy an item for. So that, and it's like, it wasn't just so obvious, you know, and that's fine. This is a CRPG and this is what they're about. That is me. That is on me. That is not the game. And I think this game, it's a 97 or whatever on Metacritic, and it is a 97 for the people that love CRPGs or maybe fall in love with this game. Yet it's hard for me personally to reconcile with that Metacritic, but that does not mean that this game is not that level for all the people that are well into this game. So for me, it's like I can recognize it as an 8 or an 8.5 for me so far. I've played 20 hours, I've scratched the surface, and that's a legitimate comeback to that. But I think at the moment I'm going to park it with everything else that's coming out.
Okay. Yeah, I think with everything else that's coming out, I thought you might. I will just go back. I do think there are some quality of life stuff about it that's been irritating. The main thing I feel I should query is I actually quite like the combat. The bit I do agree with you, though, is it's long. The combat takes a long time.
Combat's not bad. Combat's,
I really
by all
enjoy
accounts,
it,
it's really good.
It is a long time. You do settle down for a 20-minute fight quite often.
Yeah.
It's isometrics have this quite often anyway, but it does feel long sometimes, the combat. I mean, admittedly, when you pull off a combination that works spectacularly well, it's really rewarding as well, but it is long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I think it's a really good game, but it's not for everyone. But it's something that I could come back to. It's just that there's so many games coming out. Like, you haven't got the time for this stuff. And if you're not in the mood to really pay attention, I don't think this is for you. Except for if you're playing multiplayer, I suppose, Pete.
Yeah. You do definitely have to pay attention at that point there. Yes.
I mean, quickly, I'd rather this week. I know people be like, what the fuck? But all I've wanted to play was Exoprimal. And I've been playing a lot of that game, and I've been stopping myself playing more of it because I should play Baldur's Gate. And so I've been sitting down to play Baldur's Gate. I even turned on my Xbox the other day and I went, no, Ben, turned it off. I went to play Baldur's Gate. All I wanted to play was Exoprimal. New alpha suits have come out. They're just variants of the existing heroes. I've got really far in the story. I've nearly completed it. When you complete it, you get Gauntlet mode, which just adds like a new mode. I fucking love this game. The one thing that it doesn't have is ranked mode and doesn't have stats. I'm hoping they might do something like that going into the future. But what I will say is that it's really... I think it would be quite hard for them to do it because this is really a single-player game just played in multiplayer, because it progresses, the story progresses, you get more game modes, you get different dinosaurs, you get different objectives and stuff like that in your multiplayer matches that you're playing against another team. So it'd be quite difficult to do it ranked. I don't know if after you do the story they could incorporate some kind of ranked mode. So I don't know about the longevity beyond that. But at the moment it's the game I want to play. So yeah.
I'd love it if you end up coming back to that after like Starfield and Cyberpunk are out. But yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's just fucking fun.
This is actually your forever game. We will be completely surprised by it, but it's actually Exoprimal.
I know, man. Yeah, it's odd.
Could be, because like I have Rocket League, like a nice jumpy on game.
If they had something more than the Gauntlet mode at the end, and if they added in a ranked mode and they had actual like ranked, which is just these kind of 4 maps and it's these game modes, and I would literally be all in on this game. Yeah. Like, for me, that would be like, this is incredible. The content, the different suits you get, it's outstanding. It's fucking tremendous.
Jesus.
All right, there's a lot of positivity. Excellent.
Fucking high praise right there.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get it anywhere else. Nobody else is fucking talking about it.
You wouldn't expect but you wouldn't expect on a gaming podcast.
Fucking mechs versus dinosaurs, Ben.
Yeah. I know it's fucking electric. That as a premise, that juxtaposition is incredible, and it fucking works.
God, Jesus.
Yeah, for me, it's just that I'm going to park Baldur's Gate 3 to go back to mechs versus dinosaurs. But yeah, that's
I know.
That's
hey, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
You just enforce them, yes. It's a call to make. Eddie, please tell us something different.
I haven't been playing quite a lot, actually. I'm a complete lie there. But nothing exciting to tell you guys about. I've got obviously my new controller, so I've been testing it out with my usual games, my Rocket Leagues, the golf game, and Warzone. Here's something that you're going to find quite funny. Do you know when we came up to yours, Pete, and I played Rocket League on your computer? You know, Ben, when we went up to London?
With the ruined settings,
and I went to you, your fucking settings are all over the place.
Yes, yeah.
It turns out, when you play with stick drift for the past year, you get used to stick drift. And when I started playing with this controller, I went, fuck, what's happened to my Rocket League settings?
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, wait, I said this at Pete's.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what non-stick drift controllers are like. Holy shit. Yeah, so I've been getting used to that. Fuck me, it's completely different. Warzone's so much better, but my God, my golf game has gone down the toilet. I am all over the place now.
I can't wait to play Warzone with you. Honestly, for anyone listening, Eddie's controller, if somebody had given you that controller, you go, oh, I just can't play console anymore. You just have to stop. Oh, okay, I guess console gaming I can't do anymore.
Oh, I don't like it.
It was the worst controller.
Yeah, it was quite annoying when like you're trying to snipe people in Warzone and you just fall off the edge of a building because you've just moved forward and you haven't realised.
It had stick drift, but it also had these like huge sticks that you'd replace the sticks with, like these fucking monster things, because the actual sticks have been worn away so much or been gnawed by a dog or something.
That's funny you said that, because our listeners will know what you're talking about, Ben, and probably be calling you an idiot. They're what pros use, like
pros, yeah.
all right, fine. Yeah. But they're designed so that you can have small increments when like shooting and stuff. But here's the all right, fine. Here's the thing: I haven't put them on my new controller because they make it look really shit.
Because they're garbage?
No. They're fantastic, and I'm seeing some very bad results in my golf game at the moment because of it. But no, they just look terrible on the nice like grey controller. Like,
I'm going to level with you, Eddie. They didn't look good on the old one.
You know what, Ben? I've still got them. I've got them in my drawer. So if my Warzone game suffers, then they're getting back on. Don't you worry, Sam. But no, I've been playing Tarkov because it's been that new wipe. So I'm all in on it. Look, the thing I want to say a few things about Tarkov because I haven't played it probably for over 6 months, I guess. So I've missed a lot of updates and I am discovering shit. Like, it's one of those that when you come back to an old game that was like in early access, for example, and you go, holy shit, this is a completely different game. I mean, I'm not going that far, but there are so many like small changes that have made me go from when I reinstalled it. Well, actually, it never got installed. When I updated it a couple of weeks ago, I went into it going, oh, I'll just have a few couple games, like just see what it, a new wipe's like. But fuck me, I haven't stopped playing it because they've got UI. The UI's better, so you can flick towards traders like easily. Before you had to like every time you wanted to trade with someone else, you had to like press escape and then go to trader, then click on the new one. So that's fine. But here's the biggest thing: the loadout. Well, before you didn't have a loadout, so when you got killed in battle, you used to go back to your screen and you used to have to individually buy all your fucking gear before going in. So in between raids, it used to take me over 5 minutes plus the loading screen. So it used to take 15 minutes in between each game, which you want to jump in and jump out. Now they've got a loadout where you save your loadout and then when you can equip it, and then when it goes like you don't have this stuff, do you want to buy it? And you could just click buy, purchase all, and it just buys it all. It equips it onto your person, and boom, you're back in. You can go from game to game, like game to queuing up to game in 30 seconds, I reckon now. So I think that's really going to help people out. I think it's going to help the streamers out as well because it's quite boring just waiting for people watching streamers like put on clothes onto their fucking person. It's really shit. Yeah. So yeah, I'm all in. I'm doing all the missions again. There's one thing that really upsets me is the missions. If they had different missions in Tarkov, each wipe, it would be like a brand new game. And I could imagine every wipe jumping back in. But they're the same fucking missions. So you're going, oh, I did this 6 months ago. And then you go on to the next one. Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
Well, it's the same game, is it? It's just the same game.
It's the same game, just like wiped clean. Which is such a shame, because if it can't take that much effort just to go like, oh, instead of the, like, pick up this item here, let's move it to a different map. Or move it across the map. Like, surely it can't take that much. And it would feel like a completely new game. And, like, the excitement that you get in Tarkov, where, like, typing it in and you do, like, YouTube and you go, oh, this is how you find it and this is how you unlock this. It'll bring that back. Instead of the, oh, yeah, I remember this fucking one. You know, I guess my only thought is it won't bring in money. What's the point? Because people have already purchased the game. So you're only rewarding the people who have already spent bought it. Exactly.
What is there? Is there like online season pass? Is there a season pass or a microtransaction you can that they try and get you to buy each season or something? So
the only thing that I know they've got is you can like do this pre-purchase package where you get a bigger secure pack, and the secure pack is the stuff that people can't nick off you. So it is quite beneficial, but it's not like game breaking like fucking Worth a Buy a few years ago went mental saying it's play to win. It's not. It's just that. But yeah, I think they're missing something here. I think they could do like a season update and you have to pay for it, and that would give you new missions, which would unlock new weapons or skins. I don't fucking know. I mean, I understand I'm making it sound more and more like fucking Fortnite, but it's just a bit of a shame.
I'm surprised, Eddie, that they haven't done, and maybe they're just against that, and they think their gaming community would be against it, but a season pass of some description.
Yeah.
Even if it's to get real items that you can use in the game. Because I suppose this game isn't about skins and stuff like that, is it? It's about
not
stuff.
at all. It's about realism through and through. So
maybe they'll say that's pay to. Maybe they'd say that's pay to win or whatever. You just think there's a way that they'd monetize it on top, but
yeah, I mean there are things like maybe they could just introduce new missions which got slightly better equipment, and I don't mean like pay to win equipment, just like better grade equipment. You know, I don't know. There's something they could do, but they're obviously choosing not to do it, which is a shame.
Yeah, you're right. They are. If they're going ultra realism, then it's very hard to monetize it.
Yeah. Unless they go against their values and go if you do.
So probably respect to them then. Yeah.
It is. It's just I just wish they sorted out the missions, because if they sorted out those missions, then it would be a brand new game. But hey, look, I'm still absolutely loving it. I found I'm so embarrassed, but I just caught a video on flicking through Facebook, a video that says if you click multiple lobbies, you can get into game quicker. I have gone from searching games in the old days. I used to wait about 5 to 10 minutes. Now I'm waiting about 3 to 5 minutes. So not only am I getting into Raid quicker, but I'm also playing more games. And here's something interesting. I am crushing it on Tarkov right now. Like, do you remember every time I've played Tarkov before, I go like, it's a hard game, and I'm getting destroyed. I have a 65, well, until last Saturday, I had a 65% completed raid rate. Then I got drunk on Saturday and I died about 20 times in a row.
Lost everything.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, like streamers are like 60% like success rates. So I'm doing pretty well. But I don't, right, there's two things I think. It might be because I've started the wipe early so that I'm not really behind anyone else. Or, and here's kind of my theory, is because I'm getting into each raid quicker, I'm not so fucking nervous. Because, my God, am I nervous on Tarkov. Like, if I hear a fucking man running through a bush, I fucking get prone and just, shiver. But I think it's because I'm getting to raid so much quicker that it's more like a computer game instead of a build-up emotion thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be one or the other.
See that?
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely loving it. I've also been playing, what's it called? Railway Empire. I've chucked more than a few hours into that now, fuck me. But I'll talk about it next week, because I am kind of enjoying it, but there are there's like a few game modes that I want to try out before I talk about it. So yeah, I'll let you know about that next week.
Cool. Okay. Very cryptic, but I like it. Excellent. Well, that brings us on to the feature then, doesn't it, gents?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, as mentioned at the beginning, this is the comparison between games with eternally ongoing DLC against the new content sequels that come out every year. Now, I feel I should explain a bit of the context of this, because I wanted to talk about this due to a bit of a kick-off in the Warhammer Total War 3 community recently. Have you guys seen this?
I hadn't until you mentioned it.
Yeah, so you told me about it.
Yeah, so this is essentially they've got a new DLC pack coming out in a couple of weeks called the Shadows of Change. They release a lot of these, which won't surprise you. They've increased the price from what was very recently 15 quid or less, quite often £13, to £25 for this.
Woohoo!
And in doing so, they've also massively reduced the amount you get for it.
Oh, of course. Because that's how marketing works.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision choice, yes. It has not been met positively by the community, shall we say.
Really? Why?
Do they
not want to spend double for half the content?
It appears not, because it's now been review bombed to hell. And the game has gone to, I think, mostly negative, or possibly mixed overall, but mostly negative recently. And literally every single element of this community is going mad with it, to the point where Creative Assembly made a statement which essentially boiled down in very polite language to costs have gone up, prices go up, lump it. And if you don't buy this, we might not continue to support the game. Which
Jesus.
also, that's the implied threat, which also got a good comeback from a group of people who went, you literally leave one dude to do all the patches. You're not really supporting it anyway. Like, you just roll out new paid content but don't do anything for what's there. There are bugs in the game that have been there since day one 18 months ago. That haven't yet been improved. So obviously it's a bit of a hot button topic at the moment, and it did throw up the comparison for me between games, and admittedly I play quite a lot of them, that almost continue eternally with constant DLC refreshes. So this is Stellaris, RimWorld, Total War as the best examples, really. But from an RPG perspective, or from a different perspective, you could also include those ones where the DLC is essentially a new game. So I'm thinking games like The Witcher and Cyberpunk. Those ones where you're essentially getting a second game lumped into the first one as a DLC pack. And I wanted to compare them and sort of contrast the thoughts against things like FIFA and Madden and Call of Duty, where it's a 1 year, yearly release, full price every time, for what quite often feels like incremental gains.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair descriptor, yeah?
Yep, definitely.
And
I don't think they'll admit that, but yeah.
I'm sure they wouldn't, because so much of it is going to be about player movement and things in FIFA.
Oh, yes, dynamic AI movement, Pete.
That's it, yeah, which we can all quantify the changes made there every year, can't we? So, and I suppose, obviously, this is because I am far more positive generally about the almost eternal games with constant DLC. We know this. I talk down games like FIFA for that fact that I feel that FIFA 21 is the same as 23, essentially. Whereas things like Stellaris, where a new content pack changes the way you play it, I find a hugely positive experience. So, normally, until this one, World War 3 one, and I went, I am not buying that. So I suppose my first question for you guys is, where is the difference in this real business model to start with? Do you see one? Like, regular releases as a new game or as DLC, is there a major difference there, do you think?
I don't know. Like, I think it's all about marketing and the marketing towards certain individuals. I think there's a certain type of gamer, and I think probably this stems from PC gaming, where PC gaming mods are available a lot of the time, things like that, to vary up games. So
True, yeah.
A DLC approach and incremental things that you're charging for is almost like an easier sell to that community than if you were trying to change the game all the time. You're almost encouraging modders a lot of the time, aren't you? So you want them to have a lot of time with the game.
Yes.
So the longer the time modders have with the game, the longer the community kind of develops, the game can still get its updates without you doing anything. It gives you inspiration, maybe, as well, and allows you to monetize off the back of the game growing through the modding community. I think that might be one of the main things. When you come to the other examples, so those incremental releases, your FIFAs, your Maddens, your Call of Duties, even your Football Managers and things like that, it's almost like having a new game. It's weird because it ditches the old game. Like,
yes.
Eddie's an anomaly that he will be happy playing the old FIFA because it's on Game Pass. But most people are like, no, I wouldn't play the old one. I can only play the new one. Yeah. And that is just, it's a weird kind of marketing mentality that's been put on those people.
Yeah. So, actually, it's a very interesting point. Do we think then it's the same model against different markets, essentially? Like, a functionally similar model put against almost the PC gaming market and the casual gaming market, if you know what I mean.
I think I'll let Eddie have a speak.
I have no idea what you're talking about, to be honest with you.
Fantastic. Okay.
I have always seen, and might be controversial, I see, and normally because DLC is already being planned as a game is being created, I see DLC as a bit of a farce. I normally see it as just a way to grab money. I think that anything that they were planning in the DLC should be introduced into the main game. Do you know what probably is? And this is a very controversial thing, and you're both going to be surprised by this. But I think I've only ever bought one DLC in my whole entire life. Like,
I'm going to call you a liar, Eddie. You've bought at least 2.
Oh, can you think of the second? What's the
Royalty
second?
and Ideology.
I didn't get Ideology. Oh, no. Oh, that's right.
And
I did get Ideology,
off.
but I didn't get the third one. Damn.
Yes, you haven't got Biotech.
I forgot there was
which I
3.
haven't either.
Bloody hell. Yeah, right. So I've got 2. And the only reason why I bought them 2 is because my sheer respect for the developers. So I wanted to basically give them money. Yeah, and if I got something in return, that's fine. In fact, I actually turned both those DLCs off, so I guess I don't really play them. I'm a man who likes to play a game continuously, but DLCs usually are just a little bit more of a story involved, so I don't really play them, to be honest with you. I would much rather a new game, because I see that as like a new experience. Like, even like for example,
even
if the
FIFA.
Yes, yeah, because it's like a new thing. I think I'd much rather it like a new brand, a new games to get excited about, to download, to install, rather than something I just need to reinstall because it's a new patch update or a DLC. I wouldn't go through the effort of it, so I think I would always go with the new game.
That's interesting to hear you say that.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be that type because I am a play a game forever type. But yeah, it's something about I don't mind that excitement of a new game, the branding and everything else, the advertising, and yeah.
I think you touched on something, Eddie, because I think that there's a slight difference in communities between those who would normally play those titles that are yearly releases compared to people that expect to buy DLC all the time. I think, I don't think it's a big step to say that people that play Madden or FIFA or Call of Duty or whatever, including the likes of myself, but they often, those people are just buying a couple of games a year. That it's that type of community. That's not everyone, obviously. Like me, I'll buy everything, blah blah blah. I still buy Call of Duty, but there are a lot of people that buy Call of Duty, and that's just what they're buying. It's almost like they're yearning to hand over that extra piece of money. They'll buy the microtransactions and stuff like that, but if it was incremental DLCs, they might almost lose interest because you're constantly asking somebody to spend money and get the new thing. Then, whereas if you just build up to this massive, big marketed release of new thing, new shiny thing. Yes, I'll buy the new shiny thing because I buy the new shiny thing every year. Done. Next. That's me catered for a year, and I can play my once or twice a week on that thing. But then on the other side, you got the DLC communities where they're often PC based, but that's their inbuilt expectation that's how that's working. It's almost like the communities, the people developing these games have gone, our communities kind of want the same things. But how do we best monetize the people that are in our community?
Yeah.
Can I give a good example? I never bought Blood and Wine. Blood and Wine, yeah.
My God.
Yeah, and as you know, like having a house and like upgrading and shit, like that is my jam. Like, and I loved The Witcher 3. But I saw it and I went into DLC. If they released that, and even if they said this is like quarter of the content of Witcher 3, but you have a house, and they advertised it as a whole game, I would be putting £50 down for that.
That's weird, question. Isn't it?
That's
weird.
Really,
it is weird.
It's a 30-hour game in itself, Blood and Wine. Like it's a.
That's what I mean. If they admitted like this is only a part of a game, even if they didn't call it DLC, even if they called it this is Witcher 4 and a quarter or something, I don't know. Just just said that it's small. I'd be all over that.
Okay, that's it. It's weird how these things get in our heads. Interesting.
What about you and Cyberpunk, Pete? What about, are you going to buy that DLC day one?
Phantom Liberty, 100%.
Yeah.
Day one is the bit that might be doubtful. I will be getting it pretty early on the moment
as soon as you can, as you got free time.
Yeah.
Because that is a how much? 20, 30 quid?
I think it's
£35?
£29.99. Yeah,
That's basically a new game, isn't it?
it is.
That's
but
the price of.
I played Blood and Wine. I played Hearts of Stone. Both were absolutely brilliant and pretty much separate games within a game. The fact that this one is also reworking all the basic systems of Cyberpunk makes me definitely someone who'll do it. But again, I quite like DLC in the games that are sort of my life games, if you know what I mean. The ones I keep going back to over time. So,
well, when you say about life games, then these you play a lot of games around the same type of game, and they all do the same thing with the DLCs and things like that. Yeah. So they're all competing against themselves. Like Stellaris is competing against Your Time, against Warhammer, against RimWorld, etc.
Yes. Yeah.
When you play these, the people who play like FIFA or Call of Duty, they've got their market wrapped up. Like, if you want to play a football management sim, you're buying Football Manager.
Yes.
If you're buying like a army-based shooter, you're not buying Battlefield. You're getting Call of Duty, unless you're ready. You're getting Call of Duty. I bought Battlefield as well, so I don't know why I said that. But if you're buying a football game, you're buying FIFA. Like, and so they can release these new games and get those massive revenue streams and things like that. But maybe like you can't when you've got games that are all competing in the same space.
True. I also imagine there's a part of it which development, in theory, might be more difficult for these games like Stellaris. If you know what I mean. Like, the amount of calculations it's having to run is comparatively much higher. So I do wonder if keeping the game alive longer is a massive thing. They're also smaller studios, remember, most of these. They're smaller studios than EA. So I imagine the upfront development means they have a vested interest in the longevity of that release, which makes this make a lot more sense than trying to redevelop it. Yeah. Because if you release Stellaris a year later and it was only incremental improvements, people would know very quickly, and it wouldn't feel like it was worth it.
Yes, but it's a lot easier to release a new FIFA or something with incremental improvements. Because also, people change clubs as well. Yeah, absolutely. So,
Warzone,
new hairdo on
bang a
somebody.
new map on it and everyone gets mad. Yeah, one new map.
Give me a new gun and I'm all in.
Yeah, give me a new gun.
A
give
new
me
fucking
a new bat.
scope and Eddie's all over it. Yeah.
Oh, scope! You didn't say it. There's a new scope.
Fucking hell, yeah. Give me some heat vision scopes and I'm all in.
Okay, so I suppose the conclusion I want to get to on this: do we think it is the exact same thing, just being marketed in slightly different ways? Do we think that's a fair statement?
Well, like DLC to new content,
to like yearly sequels.
Yeah,
I think it's the same thing, isn't it?
I guess it is. It is. It's just completely marketed different. At the end of the day, it is a team literally coming up with slightly new content, but just completely branding it differently. But when you say it like that, it makes me think I should be a DLC person. So now I don't fucking know who I am anymore.
I genuinely thought you would be a DLC person going into this.
Fuck, am I changing my whole life now? Shit.
I think they're the same thing as well. I think they're just slightly different ways of marketing and monetizing your fan base. It may be elongating your baseline game.
Yes. Yeah.
But ultimately, sequels are based on the original game infrastructure anyway. Yeah. Like, the new Call of Duty is based on the same engine as the old Call of Duty, you know.
But they've got upgraded player movement mechanics.
Exactly. But it's still the same fucking game. So yeah, it's all the same. It's all just marketing. Can
I pose a separate question then? I know we're running on, but what do you think is the best, most morally? You know what I mean?
Which is morally superior. Often.
What is, if in your opinion, because the things that I've been thinking about when you two have been discussing this is, what should I be angry at? And I think I would like a games developer to make a game the best they can. And I don't mind if they introduce patches or maybe even a DLC where it makes that game slightly better. But at what stage do you think it should be okay for them to go, this is a brand new game now, we're going to release this in a couple of years' time? Do you think maybe like when they've got when there's a new game engine or when they've got far superior game mechanics or what?
I think, so this is it. I think at least for some of them it's the game engine. If we
So
go back to
better.
not even just that, it's like if it's able to support a better AI, if it's able to make better decisions quicker. Remember the end turn change on Total War already?
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
Just how quickly, it was insane how much they improved that.
And
That sort of thing. Yeah, oh my God, instead of, I'll just make another cup of coffee for the 10th time in an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they've got to wait for 180 factions to take their turn. And each of those takes minutes. Yeah, so I think those sort of big changes make a thing. I suppose I have always, and I'm feeling vaguely hypocritical, by the way, here, because I've just said it's the same fucking thing. I've always been annoyed by FIFA and Call of Duty doing a yearly release, because I'm like, you haven't changed enough for me to pay you 50 quid.
Okay.
Like, fuck off. I never believe
off
it's
that, Pete.
enough.
Which is the bigger swizz then? DLCs or yearly release?
I still think the biggest is yearly releases.
I think the biggest swizz is DLCs. Because Eddie made an amazing point earlier that, like, they're basically releasing the full game in sections.
But this is something I wanted to query, although I do agree in part, and I'll use an example to start that. Do you remember when Mass Effect 3 came out? There was a bit of a hoo-ha about From the Ashes DLC, which was a same-day DLC release for 10 quid.
Oh, for fuck's
And it
sake.
introduced some missions and a new character who, as you played through the game, you went, holy fuck, how could they have done this without him? Like, he's so significant to so much of it. That you were like, literally, one of the missions, like 90% of the context on the mission comes from that character. And you're like, if I played this without him, I wouldn't have a clue what's going on. Like, by comparison. That is releasing an incomplete game and just shiftying someone for it. The first Warhammer Total War, releasing Warriors of Chaos, and they did this with 3 on Ogre Kingdoms, as a same-day DLC for an extra faction. That is swizzing someone.
It seems to be a bit of a Warhammer theme here, because Blood Bowl did the same with releasing factions.
Those ones I see as a definite money grab. But when it's things like the RimWorld ones, where they're several years after, the game was in essence complete, but they're saying, okay, actually, it's gone so well, we've had money to invest and improve. And here's a big thing that is game-changing. Stellaris is my best example, because some of those have just changed it completely. It's so much more developed, and I don't think they had the time or the money to do that first time around.
But would that be simply a new game masquerading as a DLC for the old one because the player base isn't big enough to support a brand new game?
Potentially, Ben, but you're only paying half the price of a new game.
So it's not a Swiss.
It's less of a Swiss.
Less
of a Swiss. It's half the Swiss level of FIFA.
It's all
Updating
Swiss.
Leo Messi's hair.
It's all Swiss.
Right, so, okay, we have a definitive conclusion. We're getting rinsed by all of these ruthless bastards.
At any point, we're getting rinsed.
This is why I don't spend money on games. Wait for it for 75% discount. There you go.
I can't wait in 2 weeks' time. Eddie peels off the plastic covering that made his controller Starfield based and realises it's the exact same thing.
Don't say that.
Yeah, but
This is going straight to CX.
Perfect. Until that point, Ben, how would people weigh in on our debate there if they wanted to?
They could email us at podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk, or they could tweet us or X us at grumpygamerspod.
When are you just going to accept that it's now called X?
I would have accepted that if I didn't say tweet. So
But everyone still says tweet. Everyone still says tweet.
Yeah, because you're supposed to say X me. Oh, that sounds good.
It does, doesn't it? It just sounds a bit
X.
it just sounds a bit wrong in many ways. Anyway, before we get into a debate on that, shall we just say GG?
GG.
GG.